All right, everybody. Happy New Year. It's 2026, and the boys are back. We've been off a little bit here with some of our holiday schedule, but fear not, we're coming back with a vengeance tonight. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to hit the Celtics road trip. We're going to hit Jaylen Brown, the MVP. Jaylen Brown? I don't know. Stick around. We're going to talk about it. We're going to also give you our 2025 awards. We got ourselves a jam-packed show today. This is going to be a fun one. So sit back, relax. You guys know the deal. This is Green with Envy. Let's lock in. What up, what up, what up? Welcome into another edition of Green with Envy, a 2026, the first edition of Green with Envy in the new year. As always, this is your boy Will Weir checking in. How you doing? How you living? Hope everybody out there had an amazing holiday season. Obviously, the content over here has been a little bit sparse. We're going to catch up on a lot of things on this podcast today, including our 2025 awards, which are going to mix in a little bit of updates, just what's going on with me and Greg. How was our holidays? We're going to mix it all in. You'll see the concept when we get there, but we're going to have some fun with it. But before we get there, of course, I got to bring in my best friend, co-host, and the coach of our podcast, the one and only Greg Menankis. Greg, happy 2026. Happy New Year, my friend.
Happy New Year, brother. Quick question before we get into the basketball talk. What was your favorite Christmas gift that was either given to you or given to Mariana this Christmas?
Good question. So we, as a family, we limited a lot of the Christmas gifts that we were doing, and basically we just did two things. So we did on Christmas Eve with it was just basically me, my wife, her brothers, abuela, and then my cousins, which we'll talk about, came as well. And so we just did like a little mini gift exchange where we essentially Secret Santa without the secret. Like you got one person and you got a gift. So we did that on Christmas Eve, and then Christmas Day we just did a white elephant exchange with there's like 5 or 6 other members of the family that came, and it was just that. So we didn't do a whole lot of gift giving, but the coolest thing overall, and this is kind of to Mariana, but it was more to her grandma, is that as a family, we're going to go to Puerto Vallarta in March. Nice. As baby's first time at the beach, and abuela didn't know, so it was like really cool to my wife Lorena got like some towels made up that said like Puerto Vallarta 2026. Everybody had like their own little towel. So it was cool to see her reaction, and she was really excited to be able to be at the beach for the first time with Mariana. So that was kind of a combo that was definitely my favorite from the holidays. How about you?
I got to go with the hat I'm wearing, man. We were talking before we get on here about you getting like sucked into Instagram ads and all that. Yep. So this is actually, I don't know if you've seen this, but this is from a picture of Blaze, right?
Okay.
And it's like one of those Instagram ads, like turn your pet into an article of clothing or whatever. Like that.
I got one of Taco Poop, and that sits above Mariana's changing table.
There you go. That's great. So Danielle got this hat for me, and she sent in an old picture of Blaze. Blaze is actually right behind me right now as we're recording here. And it was just nice because we kept the presents to ourselves limited, right? I got her Celtics PJs, so she now has a matching set of Celtics PJs where she can watch Celtics in spirit with me. And she got me this hat, and we also, together, we bought like brand new bedding and sheets and all that stuff. So we have a brand new comforter and like all these new fancy sheets that
house shit
we've been enjoying. Yeah, house shit. That's you got to do when you're in your mid-30s.
Yeah, we do this. So usually what we do, just like me and my wife, is just like typically we would do like, all right, we're gonna go on a trip. You buy the plane tickets, I buy the Airbnb. That's kind of like something to that effect is what we usually do. But now it's just with the kids a little bit different. So we actually didn't officially get anything for each other. We just decided like once the time is right, probably sometime in January, we're both just gonna take a Friday off and have like a little spa day. And that will be us like treating ourselves.
That's great. Yeah, my toes and Danielle's toes are pretty janky right now. We both need a pedicure.
Dude, I've got some more nail related content coming up later in the podcast. So we can certainly circle back to that. But it's been a minute since we've been on here. You were traveling, I was traveling. I honestly, dude, I still got some notes. I had a New Year's Eve day podcast ready to go. couldn't find a room that just made sense to podcast in, so couldn't get it up. But I'm gonna try to sprinkle in some of the, because I just put together a whole sheet. So it's like when you do the work, you kind of still want to find a way to use that. So I'll try to sprinkle it in here. But I just want to read through this here, Greg, real quick, because we're recording here Sunday night. Shout out to the Pats, by the way. Pats locking in the 2 seed. Drake May likely the MVP. Not the first or last time we're going to talk about an MVP on this podcast. So we'll come back to that. Shout out to the Pats on this Sunday. But I just want to read through just a couple, like 4 or 5 quick notes that I have of things that missed and things that have kind of encompassed what's happened since the last time we podcast. We can just go from there, and then we'll get to our awards here in a minute. But Celtics, as of last night against the Clippers, wrapped up a 4-1 road trip. Now are a half game back of the New York Knicks for second place in the East. Crazy 30-plus games in that is a true and real thing that is happening right now. On the road trip, Derek White had a 7-block game. Joe Mazzulla won Coach of the Month. Jaylen Brown did not win Player of the Month, but dropped a 50 ball against the LA Clippers last night. And I want to hear your thoughts on that, because you had some good ones going in our group text last night. And that leads to an interesting 4-game homestand coming up here against Chicago, Denver, Toronto, and Wemby. And the Spurs, of course, that Denver game, a little less sauce on it with the Nikola Jokic injury. But Greg.
And Wemby might not play in the Spurs game. He's still out.
A little banged up as well, too. So interesting homestand of which the Celtics could, really make some noise here and continue this ascent up the standings, which is, seemed unfathomable, to be honest, like to this level when the season before the season. And then I saw a tweet today where it's like, hey, remember when the Celtics went 0-3 to start the season? And
we were like, when are the Celtics going to win their first game? We were like, it could be 2 weeks from now.
We had them at like 2-18 or some shit.
Yeah. I mean, basically, we had them having the season that the Pacers are having, right?
100%. Like, 100%.
When you think about where the Pacers were at the end of last season, where the Celtics were at the end of last season, and the talent drain from both rosters, and in the past, you've been comparing Pascal Siakam and Jaylen Brown. Like, people have we've always had Jaylen well above Pascal, but a lot of just like general NBA fans kind of had them breathing in the same space. And Siakam was unbelievable in the playoffs last year. We're coming into this season, I think you could have made the argument like, oh, damn, Pascal maybe caught up to JB. But then this year, it's just been complete dominance from one guy, and the other guy hasn't been able to keep his team afloat.
Well, you mentioned the magic word, and that's Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown is hot in these streets right now. It has been just, if you've been online here since last night or during the game last night and all throughout the day today, like, it is the number one topic in the NBA is Jaylen Brown's 50-point game against the Clippers last night, who going into that game were riding a 6-game winning streak, best defense in the NBA during that time frame. JB steps up, 50-point game, as well as, of course, the quote coming out after that. He came to Mazzulla, a couple weeks ago, was like, hey, I want Kawhi, basically, and and really locked up Kawhi for most of that game last night. So, Greg, despite what some of the trolls may say in our comments, JB is your guy. JB has been a guy that I think we've been very fair to. If I'm being 100% honest, you've been glowing to him. I think I've just been fair to him. I don't think this has been a super harsh podcast.
I did. Like, honestly, I thought I was the biggest Jaylen Brown stan out there. Like, I truly did. I was like, I have Jaylen Brown. Like, I every year I would text you, like, I think Jaylen's just better than Tatum. Like, that was kind of always my take.
It's our running joke. Every single year, I was going to get a text at some point about that. And I was like, we'll see.
and then, like, coming into this year, I guess I'll just do my first award right now, and then we can address all the haters and all the trolls. Okay. Right. So my first award here, I'm going to call this the You Get Your Chance at the Playground award. Okay. And I'm just going to explain what this is. So I was with James yesterday before his like fever really went rampant on him. And we were sitting there. He was running up and down the jungle gym. And I see to my right a kid of like a group of like elementary age kids, maybe middle school age kids playing football. And, I'm a former high school quarterback. I have some like pretty great random throws that our friend groups are aware of. Specifically, the one where I hit the float on as somebody.
You are never going to let that clip die.
It was the greatest throw anyone's ever made all time. But I digress. So I'm just
real quick.
There.
Do you still have that so you can send it out later?
I don't know. I'll look for it. I'll definitely look for it. But I'm sitting there watching these kids play football as I'm like literally eating Chick-fil-A nuggets in the most washed up form ever. And I'm like, oh, I just hope one of the ball like rolls over to me right now so I can tell one of the kids to go deep and just hit him with a sick pass. And lo and behold, the ball does roll over to me. And I'm like, fuck yeah, I get my chance to throw the ball right now. And I realized at that moment that I got greasy chicken nugget fingers. I'm like, shit, I'm not going to tell the kid to go deep. I'm just going to throw it to the nearest kid towards me and just hit him with like a tight spiral and move on with my day. He's literally 10 feet away from me. So I grab the ball. I'm like, oh, I got no grip on this thing because my fingers are so greasy. And I throw it. And dude, I threw the worst duck I've ever thrown. It didn't even make it to the kid. It fell on the ground. And he kind of like looked at me and I averted eye contact. I was like, I don't even want to do this. But that's what my award is inspired by. Jaylen Brown has his chance at the playground right this year, where for the first 9 years of his career, everyone told him that he, wasn't going to get his chance to be the number one guy. People like myself have been on record saying Jaylen Brown should be a number one option. I have videos, I have evidence out there that proves it to all the trolls. But this year, he got the ball and he did not have chicken nugget fingers whatsoever. He got the ball and he told the kid to go deep and he threw a 100-yard dime. He threw the pass that Tom Brady tried to throw to Randy Moss in 2007 and completed that pass, right? That's the pass that Jaylen Brown is throwing this year. And it's just been unbelievable to watch. To go from a guy who even me, what I thought was the biggest Jaylen Brown stan out there, had him like as a top 8 guy, as the highest I've ever had him, is playing like a legit MVP candidate right now. Like, to me, there's no difference between him and SGA this year. I think the only guy in the league that I think there's a difference is Jokic. Jokic, I think, is just on another level. I've watched enough of the Thunder and I've watched enough of the Celtics where I'm like, SGA is great in all the stuff that he does. Like, he's deserving of MVP talk as well. But Jaylen is right there with him. The two-way impact that he has, he calls himself the best two-way player in the game. And last night against the Clippers, by God, did he prove it against Kawhi Leonard, where he made Kawhi look washed up. And I was like, damn, like this is the Jaylen that we're getting, to the point where I'm sending out text messages to multiple people, multiple group texts. Like, not going to lie, Jaylen looks a lot like Kobe Bryant. Like, I don't know that there's a difference between what Jaylen is right now and what Kobe Bryant was like at his peak. And I don't even think that's hyperbole. That's how great I think Jaylen Brown is playing right now.
Jaylen's been amazing. It's just point blank. There's no other way to say it. I saw earlier, I retweeted this. Ryan Russillo tweeted Jaylen Brown looked like the best player in the world tonight. Like, and he's actually been a guy I think's been pretty critical, is tough to give in to the, to the best parts of JB, and usually has a hard time looking past whatever the faults that you may have thought of Jaylen Brown. So for a guy like that to come out and say that about Jaylen Brown, I think that actually does speak volumes. And I think, again, all of the conversation today around Jaylen Brown has been really, really refreshing to hear, because he deserves it, because he's just been that good this year. And I actually tweeted earlier, Greg, and let's talk a little bit about the MVP case, right? Because I think there's a window, or there's a path, wherever you want to look at it. There's an opportunity. And I tweeted earlier, Jaylen Brown is having the MVP season that Jason Tatum never could have.
I saw this tweet.
Yeah. And it's, when you think about it, like, a lot of MVP is going to come down to, there's going to be two important factors, right? The narrative, which JB is building in spades, and he's got the statistical profile to go along with it. And with this Jokic injury, with, other injuries around the league, like Giannis, Lucas, kind of, who knows if he's going to hit 65 games, and the Lakers have their own thing. But like, there's a world in which this comes down to SGA and JB. Like, there is a world. Now, obviously, I think for that to be the case, the Celtics have to probably be the number one seed, right? Like, I think that probably has to be the case, just because JB, as good as his stats are, if you just line them up, they're probably going to be slightly less than some of these other guys. Not by much. It'll be marginal.
Let me jump in real quick on that. So I agree. They might need to get the number one seed, but we also have 2 games upcoming with the Thunder, right? And I think if the Celtics were to win both of those games against the Thunder and JB outplay SGA, without getting the 1 seed, I do
That's
think
fair.
that there's still a possibility for JB to sneak his way into that. Like, oh, it's not just SGA or Jokic, it's SGA or Jaylen Brown, or it's Jaylen Brown or SGA. Who's going to be the first one mentioned in that sentence? History will tell us it's going to be the guy who's won the MVP for an entire season before in SGA and Jokic. So JB is definitely got some ground to make up just because he's never done it before. But it's one of those things, like, once you do it, then everyone has to admit that you've done it, right? And he has a finals MVP. It's not the same thing as a league MVP, but it's worthy of its own flowers.
Resume quite a bit, right? Like that's not nothing, obviously, right? Winning a finals MVP. And so the path is there. And this is one of the crazy things is that, again, we talk about, you always text me every year at some point, hey, I think Jaylen's better than Tatum. And usually at some point that backs off. Now, I don't want to get into a whole Jason Jaylen thing because, like, it is what it is. Like, they're both great. I think what we're seeing right now is that likely they have 2 top 10 players, however you want to slice it. And of course, whatever Tatum comes back as, that's, we'll have to evaluate that when that time comes. But that's what I think we're looking at here is the established fact that we might have 2 top 10 players that are on the Celtics right now, and circumstances are opening where Jason Tatum is coming off 4 straight first team All NBAs. And I believe his highest MVP was 4th place as far as like where he finished. There's a chance that we're going to go into next season. I'm going to sit here and it's going to sound really dumb. I'm going to be like, hey, I think Jason Tatum's our best player, even though Jaylen Brown either just maybe won the MVP or maybe finished second in MVP, which is something Jason Tatum has never done. But these are the circumstances that have presented themselves to Jaylen Brown of his own accord, of his own play. And they're all rightfully deserved, of course, with some of the injury caveats in there as well. But here's the thing I was thinking about, Greg. Take all the injuries out. Like, even the Giannis was having an amazing season, but the teams was never going to be that great. Jokic was obviously having an MVP level. He's probably the MVP if he ends up coming back and can still make the games required limit. He might even still win, and he's the best player in the world. But I think you turn injuries off, and there's a good chance that this Jaylen Brown season is a top 4 or 5, just straight up, like, no caveats, first team All NBA season. That's how good. Like, and I think it's going to get brought up a lot, the different injuries, and it's not unfair, but I do think that this year is so great that it probably doesn't actually matter.
I really think the year that he's having right now is, up to this point, is better than any Jason Tatum beginning of a season that I've ever seen. There's one season that I don't know the year, but there's one season where we're like, oh damn, like Tatum's going for that MVP. I can't remember which year it was, but for the most part, Tatum's been a slow starter, right? And he turns it on like late in the year. So, like, to me,
it was 2 years ago when he was leading the straw poll like quarter of the way through the year.
Yeah. I think you're right there. And I just think that, like, the way that Jaylen is playing, man, like, I've made the Kobe comparison already. I literally got a text from somebody else saying, like, dude, he legit looked like MJ, which obviously Kobe was trying to be MJ. And like, he looks so damn good right now. We as much as we love Jason Tatum, like, there were plenty of moments where, like, damn, like, this was, I kept expecting JT to go to that next level for the regular season where he would just, like, rip off like 25 straight games of pure MVP dominance. And then he'd have like 6 or 7 game stretches where you'd be like, that he's just not consistent enough to do it. The consistency that we've seen out of Jaylen Brown over the last 6 weeks or so, it's just mind blowing, dude. He's doing it every single night, going head to head with the best players of the world and coming out looking like the better guy every single time. And when you put him stacked up against Kawhi last night, the very first possession that he was guarding Kawhi Leonard, I was like, oh, damn, Jaylen Brown is, like, pissed off in this game. And he's here to prove that Kawhi Leonard is a has-been, and he is right now. And that's exactly what he did last night with that 50 ball.
Yeah, it's really hard to kind of wrap my head around what I'm watching with Jaylen Brown right now in this moment. And so, with him, something I think is really interesting is, like, right, like, scoring in the NBA is not the end all be all, but it is, like, an interesting way to kind of look and measure throughout time, especially when you look at a round number like 50, because, like, scoring 20 points in a game, it's it's not quite the same as an offensive boom. You can look at all the different numbers, but when you see that now Jaylen Brown joins only Larry Bird and Jason Tatum as the only guys to do it more than once for the Celtics, like, that's impressive within itself. Then you look at how many times Jason Tatum has done it. It's a reminder, like, damn, Tatum is that good as well. And so now you just think about these two kind of going forward and where Jaylen's put himself. And it's, again, I'm trying not to compare the two of them, but something that does stick out to me, Greg, is when I think about Tatum at whatever you consider to be his best 5-6 week stretch or whatever versus what we're watching with Jaylen Brown right now. And I wonder if you feel this way. I'm enjoying it a little bit more with Jaylen Brown. And I wonder if that's for two reasons. One, it is unexpected. And so sometimes when you're so surprised, there's just this different level of joy that comes along with it. And I think the other part is with Tatum for the last couple of years, he's averaged about 9 or 10 threes per game. And I've always been like, I think really the way he takes his game to the next level is he should shoot 6.5, 7 threes a game. Like that's and cut out some of the chasing step backs that just don't need to be there. And Jaylen has kind of just done that, right? Just been a menace from the mid-range. And the thing is, for me, it's always so easy for Tatum when he cuts out some of those trash threes. And Jaylen doesn't really take any trash threes this year. Now, he's taken them in the past for sure, but he's really cut that out of his diet. And of course, he's just been an absurd shot maker, like something we haven't seen outside of those MJ Kobe, which is part of why he's getting those comparisons. But I'm curious for you, has aesthetically, like this peak of Jaylen felt a little bit more appeasing than what we've seen out of peak Jason Tatum, which is
I mean that's a lot of the reason why I would text you like, hey, JB might just be better than Tatum, is because I just like prefer the shot diet that Jaylen Brown has more than what I see out of Jason Tatum. I think Tatum does so many things amazing on the court that he's able to do because of his physical gifts, like the pick and roll that he's able to run. It's just a little bit of a higher level than what JB is capable of, and JB is now maximized his spots on the floor where I don't think Tatum has ever maximized his spots on the floor. I think Tatum has gotten close where we've been like, oh, that's like really special what Tatum is getting to. But like right now is the fully realized like two guard, like built in a lab two guard in the mold of MJ and Kobe game that Jaylen Brown has. It's like reaching its highest potential right now. And he's also been an unbelievable defensive player as well, where all of the kind of like old shit, the bad habits that we saw to Jaylen early in his career, those are like well behind him now. He's just locked in on both sides of the court. And I just feel lucky that we have Jaylen Brown to carry us while Jason Tatum is out, because when Tatum comes back, dude, like he can just slide into a number 2 role, and he might have to like check his ego at the door, right? But it's Jaylen Brown's team right now.
Yeah, I've been it's too early to have that conversation, but once we get closer to that end of February, March timeframe, and we start thinking, hey, maybe Jason Tatum's coming back, I'm really interested to see where Jaylen's at that point in the season. And I can't wait to have those conversations of like, hey, what do we think is the best fit?
Fun problem to have.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome to talk about. I had also won the award here that was just basically for Jaylen Brown, so I'm gonna skip that one because we just covered that. Unless there's anything else that you want to add about Jaylen, because Jaylen Brown deserves the first 25 minutes of this podcast. So, is there anything else that we haven't hit that you were like, I did want to mention this about Jaylen
Brown? I mean, I just think it's cool that he's getting the MVP buzz. You know, we talked about it a few weeks back, where small change compared to podcasts like Bill Simmons, right? And I know he made a case for JB to be on his first team All-NBA just last week, and I'm sure he was at the game in LA last night, or 2 nights ago,
we'll hear about
last night. Yeah. So I'm sure he's going to talk a lot about it on tomorrow's pod, which I'm excited to listen to. But I think the narrative is now there, and it's not just like the Celtics podcast that are talking about Jaylen Brown being an MVP. I mean, dude, we had Drew Carter on 2 weeks ago, and we were like, where the fuck are the MVP chants? Right?
He got it in LA
now
last
he's
night.
getting them on the road. Yeah.
Oh, well deserved, man. And also, yeah, you see the girl he's doing salsa with on the stream? Ooh, he's winning. He's winning. JV's winning right now. Okay. All right, let me go to, so I'm gonna skip my Jaylen Brown award that I had here.
Can I hear what it was called?
It was gonna be called the This Is Different Baby Girl is a Star Award. And it was just going to be about how, having a baby girl at Christmas is a little bit different. You've been around kids at Christmas, but when it's your kid, it's just a different feeling. And so it's a new feeling with Jaylen Brown. He's the new star that we have here that we've always kind of had. He's been there, but it's a different version of Christmas.
Right. And just to critique myself, I didn't land the plane on that first award category, but I will on the next one.
But just for the folks listening, this is going to be the most long-winded, obscure awards. Basically,
Yes.
that's the description I took from Greg is what he just gave you as the first one. So we're going to get a lot of that, a lot of
Yeah.
exposition that maybe we land it, maybe we don't. End of the day, we'll probably talk a little hoop.
I'm gonna land the next one. I promise you.
Okay. I like this next one that I got here. I think this is going to be fun. My first award is called the Random Cousin Energy Award. Holiday.
Love
This is
it.
about the holiday season. Random Cousin Energy Award, and this for me has a personal connection, but I think a lot of people could connect to this. So I briefly mentioned like over the holidays, I spend it with my wife's family. They're from Juarez and El Paso, border town, and my cousin and her husband came and joined us. And
Dude.
also, I should mention. Oh, go ahead.
I thought that like they were photoshopping themselves into pictures. I didn't realize they were in El Paso with you. I was like, shout out to them,
man. They took my cousin's husband basically, you know, made like one of those like travel vans. Like he's a handy guy. He does all the type of shit, whatever. Made it. They traveled all the way across. They're still somewhere out west. I don't even know where they are right now, but they're like by the Grand Canyon. So they're doing a big trip across the country, and they came to El Paso and hung out with us. And then also even back to Thanksgiving, my wife's cousin who lives in Philly came and joined my side of the family in Boston. So I'm really connected to this Random Cousin Energy Award because number one, I love the extra dynamic that this throws in. Now, obviously, this can go bad, and this is why I think people could relate to this because it can go a couple different ways. But I think every family has, you know, whether it's a cousin or maybe it doesn't have to be a random cousin. It could be a new person. It could be, you know, a cousin's boyfriend or girlfriend or a new spouse or a new whatever that's in the mix. And it just changes up the energy, the vibe of what you got going on for the typical holidays. If you're very used to it's just us, you know, X amount of people, it's the same routine. We do this, we do that. When you throw something new in the mix, it brings this different energy that, again, could go wrong. In my case, went very right. It's great having just like my side of the family with my wife's side of the family. And like, we're all kind of bonding over like different elements of like, you know, what they're asking questions about what are your traditions. They're sharing their traditions. They're bringing like stuff that we would do more, doing different board games, different connections, all of these type of things. And so for me, this award is going to Hugo Gonzalez. This is the Hugo Award because when he comes in the game, it's a different vibe. It's a different energy. And most of the time, it's uplifting. It's changing the momentum of the game. It's bringing something different. Occasionally, doesn't go great. He hits himself in the face. You know, the other night, he shot a ball off the side of the backboard. Like, it's not always going to go great. I think that'd be the equivalent of, you know, not knowing the family dynamics. Maybe that random cousin, they haven't been there for every Christmas. Maybe they make a faux pas. They say something they shouldn't, ask a question they shouldn't. But hey, you know what? Gives you an opportunity to bounce right back. And that's what Hugo Gonzalez does. So to me, I think Hugo Gonzalez embodies the Random Cousin Energy Award. What do you think?
I think that's an unbelievable award. Well done. You landed the plane on that. I also love this isn't basketball related. This is just like holidays related. The random people at like kind of bigger family events that happen for like a week long, or even if it's just one night, how they can just like, if they fuck up, if they have a faux pas in one room, they can just move to the next room, right? Nobody knows in the next room that they just messed up in the previous room. So you can
know what the best thing is the next day when someone's like, hey man, I really like the new guy. And then the person they had the faux pas with is like, I don't know, man. They're pretty suspect. And then you have these like two, like, what do you mean? I didn't see any of
those.
this.
Those are the Twitter trolls.
Yeah.
Those are the T. Nelsons of the chat. Okay. I love it. I love it. That's great. I know we said that we weren't going to do predictions, but did you have a prediction of who might win this award in 2026? Because that was the original gambit for
that was the original gambit. I don't have a prediction. I can make one though, and honestly, it's probably still Hugo. Like it's just Hugo again, because you know one of the things with Joe Mazzulla that I think is still very confounding is some of the minutes, and listen, everything's working. You can't question it. But the minutes with like, especially that quartet of guys in, you know, Minot's kind of fallen out of this race. I have him up here later so we can talk about it. But like, you know, Jordan Walsh went from starting but playing like 5 minutes one night, 13 minutes the next night. Then he comes off the bench last night. He was awesome last night in that game. Hugo has gotten to the point where he's basically playing every game, but he still has some games where it's like randomly 11 minutes, and other games it's like 30 minutes, and then sometimes it's game dictated. Sometimes it feels like Joe's just doing it and I can't really pick up the reasoning why. And then Baylor Shireman, who knows? Sometimes he wasn't. I can't follow when Baylor Shireman's gonna find himself in the rotation. So it's a combination of those guys that it's gonna go to, here in 2026.
All right, I love it. Ready for my next award?
What you got?
Okay, I'm gonna call this award Grandpa's Big Secret Award. Okay.
This is exciting. I'm gonna step back.
So this award is inspired by a moment I had over Christmas break where we're with Danielle's family and we're playing Cards Against Humanity, right? And her Uncle Donald pulls a card that references...
Excuse me, what was his name?
Donald. So it's spelled Dawnald. Donald. Like
okay.
Dawn.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying Donald in like, I was like, are you attempting like a New York accent? Like what?
That's
I don't
what
know.
When I thought the exact same thing when I first met him. I was like, why are you guys saying it like that? So yeah, his name is spelled Dawnald. Great guy.
Yeah, we call him Mark. We only say Mark though. So it's Mark? Mark is it? No, it's Mark. You got to say it that way.
Uncle Donald, who's the man? He actually hosted Christmas, right? So he pulls a card that references an 11-inch penis. And Danielle's cousin, Becca, who's also amazing, just leans over and whispers something to Danielle. And Danielle just goes, "Oh, don't tell me that right now." And Donald goes, "Oh, you guys talking about Grandpa?" And then everyone in the room just starts laughing. And I just look at everyone and I'm like, wait. Are you telling me that Grandpa had an 11-inch penis? And they're all just like, yeah, kind of family thing. But I guess Danielle, I got her permission. So I was like, I want to talk about this on the pod. Like, am I allowed to do that? And she's like, yeah, you can do that. It's not a bad thing to talk about how like my grandfather had like a huge penis. But
hey,
I guess
Grandpa had a 3-inch penis. Please, maybe don't talk about it.
But I guess the night before they had been talking about it, which Danielle wasn't present for. So she got a text message the next day talking about like, hey, did you know Grandpa apparently had a schlong? So this award is called Grandpa's Big Secret Award. And I'm going to go ahead and give this award, because this is all 2025, to Jaylen Williams from the Oklahoma City Thunder, who played an integral role in the playoffs last year, including a legendary Game 5 with the series tied 2-2, where he drops 40 points. And after the season, we find out that Jaylen Williams was playing the entire time with torn ligaments in his wrist that would require surgery. Jaylen Williams reveals a big secret. Grandpa's big secret. What do you think? Did I land that one?
I'm still blown away by this. I have so many questions. I'm still like blown away by the story. Like, it's one thing to have like an urban legend about like that lives within the family, but about it being his 11-inch dick, like, was he a porn star? Like, how do they find this out? Like, what is did he walk around?
He had like 8 kids.
I mean, yeah, you can reproduce and not have an 11-inch dick. Like that's possible. Like, I don't think the size of your penis is equivalent to how many kids you can have. It's not like
apologies to everyone who's listening to this podcast with their little kids right now, their family. We probably should have prefaced it.
Put a little warning in there.
Yeah, a little warning.
Okay, well, I'll move off it. Just tell me, how does the family know? Like that's a very strange thing to be an open legend around the family.
I didn't ask. I will find out eventually. And
how did you not ask? That has to be the first question. You weren't curious how everyone knows Grandpa has an 11-inch.
Danielle was kind of giving me I'm not comfortable with us talking about this right now.
And move on.
Like her grandfather like passed away within the past year, right? So it's like not something that I really feel like all that comfortable dressing like in the room. Huh?
I said hopefully it was a big casket.
Jesus. Okay, let's move on.
I don't even remember who won the award. Oh, Jaylen Williams. Shout out to Jaylen Williams.
Shout out to Jaylen Williams for winning the Grandpa's Big Secret Award.
That was a big secret.
Oh, I had also in considerations Jalen Brunson, Alex Caruso, and Tyrese Halliburton.
I like Jaylen Williams. I think that's the right one because honestly, like from a basketball perspective, what that did to me is like, yeah, everyone's got to shut the fuck up about having these excuses, right? Like that dude just played. He literally needed surgery. He played through it. Like he went through a bunch of criticism, like at different points in the postseason. Like I don't know, the problem with the Thunder could be Jaylen Williams, isn't it? And it's like, and he persisted through it. So I think the same thing for the Celtics when they get dinged for like, it's like, KP was out. You know what I mean? Like that does matter. You know what I mean? They still persisted with that injury. So when teams, and I'm specifically thinking of like, I'm so sick of the Cleveland Cavaliers, like, we don't have Max Strus, we don't have Dean Wade. Like, shut up. Like, I'm sorry. Like, they're a team I'm just getting very annoyed with, that I'm like, they need to just be done with it. Be done with it if that's your excuse. Like, looking at something like Jalen Williams.
You know what I just thought about?
What?
Those genes are in James somewhere. Will they be activated? Who knows? He's got potential. Little guy's got potential.
The legend continues. The legend continues. All right, let's get away from this topic so that your fiance doesn't kill us. All right, my next award. I think you'll like this one. It's called It's on My Plate, so I'll eat it, but I don't really like it.
Okay, love it.
And what I'm specifically referring to, so I think maybe it was like New Year's Day or something, or New Year's Eve. I think it was my brother-in-law's girlfriend brought over a cake, and like it looked good. I didn't know what it was, like which type it was. Like it had some like white frosting. I could see there's a little bit of chocolate maybe in there. I was like, oh, that looks pretty good. And I was up and around doing some stuff with the baby. We're starting dessert, and I was like, yeah, throw me a piece on there. Of course, it's dessert. It's the holidays. Like, fill me up. I'll figure out all the calories and how fat I am later. That's not the problem for today. And so I came back, sat down, it looked good, took a bite, and it was mostly kind of like I don't even know what type. It was like a banana cream cake or something to that effect.
Like a banana pudding.
Not what I was, not what I was expecting. And it's really weird. I love bananas. I eat like a banana a day, basically. Mm-hmm. Don't really like banana flavored stuff anywhere else in my life. I just not for me. So I bite it. My wife looks at me and goes, "You don't really like it, do you?" I was like, "No." And they gave me this big ass piece because they're always like, "Yeah, the way it works in that house, they're like, the men are gonna eat, like, give them the biggest slice."
I mean, you're an inaugural member of the Belly Rub Boys.
Exactly. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, all right, I don't want to be rude, so I'm gonna have to like force this down. So I'm doing it little by little. Eventually, again, I like find a way to get up and go, do something with the baby. And I'm kind of hoping in the back of my mind, like, maybe they'll start cleaning up and be like, I think he's done. They'll just throw it out. They threw out everything except for my slice of cake. So I came back and then the cake is still there.
So now you're forced to eat it.
So now I'm forced to eat it because I'm like, now everyone's got eyes on, like it's very obvious if I just sit here and don't eat this cake. Some coffee comes on. I'm like, okay, cool. Let me take some coffee. This will kind of, coffee and cake goes together, just help make it a little bit better. And so eventually we get through it. So it was there. It was on my plate. Didn't like it, but I made it through.
Okay.
This award for 2025 goes to Anthony Simons.
Okay.
He's here. He's playing with us. He's not what I expected. I thought it was a different type of cake that I was getting. It came out. It came out in the preseason. He couldn't dribble, and I was like, "Oh, this isn't really what I thought that I was getting as a player." And so I've had to learn to adjust my expectations, try to figure out how can I make Anthony Simons palatable. And Joe Mazzulla has finally started to help this, and he's become an insane plus-minus guy over the last like 12 games. I had this here for the pod I didn't do, which he was. This is 2 games ago, but he was plus minus. He was 10th in the NBA over the last 10 games. And the 2 best Celtics lineups in that time frame were both featuring Anthony Simons. And a big part of the reason why is because, and I called for this about a month or so ago when we were debating Joe Mazzulla and his use of Anthony Simons, was Simons, like I said, he's not the cake I expected. You can't just be like, hey, Simons, go run the offense and like get us some buckets and let's give Jaylen a break. He's actually much more of a complementary piece, and he needs to be out there with at least 2 out of the 3 main ball handlers, meaning Jaylen Brown, Peyton Pritchard, and Derek White. And those are the lineups typically with Keita, which has been the big, although Garza's been really good on this West Coast.
He's been awesome.
Something we didn't mention. But typically with a big, and Simon's production has been much, much better. It's not going to be, I think, what we envision. But if this is the version we're getting, give me the cup of coffee. We're going to get through this. And Anthony Simons, I'm trying to hang in there with you. You're my banana piece of cake, my piece of banana cake, whatever it is.
It's a banana, William. What could it even cost? $10?
I got my family watching some Arrested Development too, which was fun.
Oh, that's great, dude. I've come around on Ant. I've adjusted my calibration on what he is as a player and what he is going to be for the Celtics team. There's nobody I would rather have shooting a wide open 3-pointer on this team than him. Like anytime
man.
When he gets the ball, that thing is up and it's going in, and I feel great about it. And you know what I've really noticed? Jaylen really looks for Ant. Anytime Jaylen's coming up the court, and he knows that Ant like might be trailing him on the wing or something like that, he's going to find him. And I think that's the mark of like trust between players, is like when you can see them looking for each other on just like through the television screen. It's something like you can pick up if you watch a team in person. I think it's a lot easier to see that stuff. But like Jaylen is constantly looking for Anthony Simons. Remember when like Sam Hauser was first breaking in the rotation and we were like, nobody looks for Sam. Like everyone's just like, with the ball will sometimes find its way to Sam and then he'll knock down the three, but nobody was like seeking out Sam Hauser in the first couple of years in the rotation. People are seeking out Anthony Simons, and the fact that the best player on the team is seeking him out, I think says a lot about who he is as a player. Ready for my next one?
Yeah. What you got?
Okay. I'm going to call this one we probably shouldn't have 3 dogs and a baby under one roof rule. Let me say that again. We probably shouldn't have 3 dogs and a baby under one roof award. So this is inspired once again by my experience this Christmas, which actually went a lot better than I expected. So Danielle's family, they all get together and people travel from different parts of the country. And some people that are within driving distance don't want to board their dogs, so they bring their dogs. I totally get it. There's a new element here, right? James is here. So having 3 dogs who have histories of like kind of getting into little scuffles around a baby.
I already don't like this.
Not great, right? Just like tons of anxiety for me and Danielle. So we like got ahead of it and we sent messages to the family like, hey, for everyone's safety, to put the dogs in a good position to be successful, to put James in a good position to be successful, let's make sure we follow these ground rules. And it actually went a lot better than I expected. There's only one moment where I was a little bit uncomfortable, but everything else I was like, oh, everyone's like really on their shit. This is great.
And to be clear, your dog is not there. So none of these are your dogs that you own. So it's a little bit different.
Correct. Yeah. All different dogs. And James has been around them before, but never all 3 at the same time, to my knowledge. So I'm going to give this award to the Los Angeles Lakers because they've got 3 dogs. They've got Luka Doncic. They've got LeBron James. They've got Austin Reeves. There's only one baby on that team, man. There's only one basketball. And it's probably not a good spot for all of them to be on the same team with a baby. You know, like those 3 dogs, they need their own space, man. And it's just not right for all of them to have to share the ball, to share the rock. It doesn't look good when they play together. Austin Reeves is out right now, but since LeBron's come back, they haven't looked like the same team. The defense is an absolute mess. And it's gotten me to the point where I'm just like, I'm kind of out on Luka right now. Like, I just don't think he's as good as I thought he was. I now have Jaylen Brown over him. I think that like LeBron is probably about as washed up as someone can be with who's still putting up the stats that he's putting up. I just think it's time for them to, get those dogs their own homes and keep the baby safe.
I thought you were going to say JJ Redick was the baby.
He's done a lot of baby. He's done a lot of
media over the last like 2 weeks.
That's a better take if I said JJ Redick was the baby. Can we just redo that whole segment? No, that's great.
Yeah, I thought that's where you're going with it, but no, I totally agree with you. The Lakers were kind of surprisingly like how well they were playing, pre-LeBron coming back, and obviously it's not just LeBron coming back. I think it's the combination of all this, which I think is the point of your award. Like it's not one isolated thing. It's like LeBron for whatever he's doing, even though it's like the most washed version of him is still very good. I saw someone, I'm stealing this from somebody who said it. He's clearly entering his Jordan on the Wizards years, right? Like that's what it's like. Oh, this is still really impressive for a guy who Jordan was 38, LeBron's 40 or whatever. It's still very impressive, but I don't know if it's helping you win basketball games, especially for just what that team needs. And now it's just accentuating Luka's defense, right? Like that's everything that's been for a Luka team that you're building. Give him another ball handler and surround him with defense and a big with a lob threat. Like those are like in some shooting. Those are like the staples of what you want to do. And now, much like people always thought going into the season, like those 3 on the court together, you're just not gonna be able to defend. Like Rui Hachimura and DeAndre Ayton and Marcus Smart, whatever combination you're throwing out there, they're not solving the problems of what you have with those 3. And so going all the way back to us talking about, Jaylen Brown in his potential MVP case, like Luka, if he qualifies, is gonna be another guy that's in the mix. Like the defense is going to be so sticking out so much that it's because of how much it's hurting the Lakers that's where you look at it. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. He averages 3 more points per game and he averages, more assists and rebounds, but you can't tell me that he's helping his team win games the way Jaylen Brown's helping the Celtics win games, especially. Yeah, and he, I love Derek White. I think the debate of who's better, Derek White or Austin Reeves, like it's as much as Derek White does a lot of shit. And he's making a sneaky all-star bid here in the last 10, 15 games. Like Austin Reeves is probably the better player. If you're just taking one guy out of the two, you can debate that. That's fine. But the point being, like, it's just complete. It's apples to oranges what Jaylen Brown is doing for his team versus what Luke is doing. Throw the stats out the window. So I'm with you. I like that award. I think it makes a lot of sense. And I think the Lakers are kind of interesting to see if they do anything here in the next month and a half before we hit the trade deadline. And then who knows what offseason looks like when it comes to LeBron James.
I barely heard anything you said because I was so mad I didn't do the JJ Redick as the baby thing, because that's just so much better. But I'm shocked that you think Austin Reeves is better than Derek White. I think Derek White is clearly a better player there. But let's move on to your next.
Yeah, that's for a different day. I think I think you can look at it different ways depending on how you're framing it. All right, I've got 2 more awards here. How many more do you think we should do here? So I know we have a special one that we're going to do at the end. So how many more you want to go through?
Let's see, 2. So I got 1 more and then the special one.
Okay, cool. So that means I'm gonna do.
I could do 2 more though.
Hey, I'll give my 2, but you give 1 and the special one. So that works out. Cool. All right. So this next one here, I mentioned we're gonna come back to Josh Minott. This award is going to Josh Minott. This is the time to step up. I got this. Actually, maybe I don't got this award. And this comes from something that happened in my life this morning. I mentioned we're coming back to fingernails here. So my daughter's fingernails just grow like fucking crazy. And usually this is a job for my wife. She's handled it most of the time. I've done some of the ones when we had like that when she was so small, you have to use like basically the what's like it's like the power
grinder.
sander, basically.
Yeah, we gave you the grinder.
Yeah, we have that. And that one, it just takes a while. It's longer. You gotta keep her still. Like it's so like that one I've done like here and there, but it's usually like I gotta do it like 2-3 fingers or toes at a time or whatever.
Yeah.
Her fingers are long enough now, and the nails are growing so much that we can use a clipper. And so this morning, she was like, "Here, why don't you try the clipper?" Because they are getting a lot of control. I was like, "I can, put on the game face. I can do this." A little bit like Josh Minott. No one gave him a chance in Minnesota. We gave him a chance here. He's like, "Hey, Josh, you're gonna go into the starting lineup." And I'll tell you what, first 4 fingers, we're flying, baby. We're clipping them. We got 1, 2 clip pop, 1, 2 clip pop. And we're like, all right, we're cooking with gas here. Josh Minott, he was a revelation early in the season. We were like, this is the guy. This is the guy that we've been waiting for as the third athletic wing that goes with the Jays. And then we got to the thumb. And, the thumb, once again, it's kind of a time crunch. I'm sure you've gone through this with James or, whatever your guys' setup is. And so, we've got it all set up. Whatever music's playing in the background, she gets a little antsy and clip a little bit of the skin. Didn't go the way anyone wanted. Baby starts crying. I feel like crap. It's just not a great situation. And so, this is Josh Minott where, hey, it was great until it wasn't. And then you kind of faded to the background. And, now Josh is kind of out of the rotation. We're wondering, when's he going to get his shot again? I'm sure he's going to, but you got to stay ready. Don't know when. That's me in the clip game. I'm on the bench right now.
What kind of nail clipper are you using? Because I feel like you maybe were set up for failure here, similar to how Joe Mazzulla is maybe setting up Josh Minott for failure by slipping him in as a small ball 5.
It's a little baby nail clipper, like the baby version of what you would use. I don't know how.
Okay, but it doesn't have like a built-in guard where you like are not going to get the skin.
No, it's like a cheaper one from CVS. I think we bought while we were traveling. So probably I know the one that you're talking about, and I think we do have that one as well. Yeah. But I think this was more like we still just got back from traveling the other day, so it's like we're still like we spent today trying to reorganize our life basically. Yeah. And it was just like, oh, this one's here on the table. Just try this one. And again, first 4 fingers, clean as a whistle. We're cooking, baby. She's grabbing the inside of my mouth now. No more.
Dude, that hurts.
Yeah,
I have so many scratches on me from my little dude. It's brutal. Listen, dude,
you got a little strong boy real quick. The grip little children have, holy shit,
dude. They're like cats.
You get a hold of it sometimes, and I'm like, no, no. And I'm like,
dude, James
I'm trying to
fishhooks
get it
me
out. I
daily.
can't.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
dude,
crazy.
it's
But
wild.
dude, if I remember, you were like a scissors family to cut
Oh,
nails.
you're correct, and it's fucking wild that we did that. I can't imagine
I'm
trying
like,
to do that.
I remember like your mom went to cut my nails one time when I was a kid, and you were using scissors,
My
and I was
mom was
like,
cutting your nails. What was happening?
I don't know. We were like, I was at your house, and like I had like a hangnail or something. Your mom went to cut my nail.
Okay.
But I remember she like pulled out some scissors, and I was like, whoa, what is
Yeah.
happening here? Because I like still clearly remember it, right?
Yeah, you were right.
Yeah. So man, it happens. It happens. You'll bounce back. Josh Minot, I think, will get another chance. You'll get another chance, and you'll succeed. I think
Exactly.
Josh
That's why he
Minot will
gets the award.
succeed.
We both just got to stay ready. We're part of the stay ready crew now.
Love it. Okay. My next award is called the Dead Know Nothing Award. And this is inspired by the first line in the new book by Dorchester author Mark McDonough, which in turn was inspired by Mark witnessing this very thing happen to me one summer about 8 years ago. The very first line of his brand new book, The Dead Know Nothing, reads, Father Franklin went to light his cigarette on his stove and accidentally lit his hair on fire instead. That happened to me, except I was smoking a cigar. I never smoked a cigarette in my life. And I walked outside all those years ago when Mark and my mom are out there talking, and they're just like, what is on your head? And I'm like, what are you talking about? They're like, did you dye your hair recently? I'm like, no. We're like, what are you talking about? They're like, oh my God, dude, you just lit your hair on fire. And this award, it's 2025, Will. The person who lit their hair on fire can only go to one person. Who do you think this award is going to?
Lit their hair on fire. I'm going to say it's not I don't know.
Not Celtics, NBA.
Yeah, I figured it was no Celtics. Really, I'm trying to think of like pop culture who set their hair on
No,
fire.
NBA.
Oh, NBA? Give it to me. I'm blanking.
Nico Harrison.
Oh, okay. That's a good one. That's a good one.
So this award goes to the big dumb idiot Nico Harrison.
Well, see, if you had phrased it that way, I would have got it right.
Who decided to throw caution to the wind and for temporary satisfaction decided to try and smoke a cigarette, lighting it on the stove by trading Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis and Max Christie in a first-round pick. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory there. Nico no longer has a job. I no longer have some of the hair on my head because of that. And Father Franklin and the Dead Know Nothing does as well. So shout out to Mark McDonough. Shout out to Nico Harrison.
Now, some might say, are you being a little contradictory here, Greg? I think you just validated Nico's trade with some of your comments about Luka Doncic earlier.
Okay, so I had another award that was going to talk about Luka, but we don't have time for it. I do think when you look at that trade, the justification for it just makes no sense. Saying we're trading Luka because we're worried about an injury when you're acquiring an injury-prone guy who's 7 years older and not getting draft capital to compensate yourself for. So, like, I hear you. I know you said that in jest, but I do think that Nico's general shorting of Luka could have been a brilliant move. It's just the way that he went about it.
The execution of it was
so
absurdly bad. It's funny. I literally thought about this the other day where I was like, damn, Nico's idea, not horrible. The execution is just such an abomination that there's no justification for it.
Lit his hair on fire, man. Lit his career on fire.
Lit his career on fire. See you later. 1, 2, 3 Cancun. Have fun out there, Nico. All right, I got one more here, and then we'll go to you for your last one. This last one here is a little bit of a combo of a 2025 predictive 2026 award.
Okay.
So this is the excited but need to see it Marty Supreme Award, which is going to Jason Tatum. So the reason for this award here is Marty Supreme, the new Timothée Chalamet movie that's out there. I'm excited to go see it. I love everything. I love everything Chalamet's bringing to the table these days. I think Chalamet just gets it, man. He just seems like the man. Listen, I know he's a Knicks fan, guys. We would fucking kill to have a celebrity be as into the Celtics and as cool about it as Timothée Chalamet is to the Knicks. Like the Celtics would love to have that. We don't. It's okay. Maybe Ayo Adebri. Let's can you be our Celtics fan? Somebody with a little bit of gravity right now. And Timmy's got that. And I just like his promo, his, the clip of him White Boy of the Year with Anthony Edwards is just a 10 out of 10. Like everything about it is great. He's doing all the promo for it. I was talking about this with our guy Lip Tag. I was with him for a little bit earlier today. Like, I love that he's, as an actor, like, I want to be the greatest. Like, he's just straight up like, not like, hey, art is subjective. Everybody likes their own flavor. Now, fuck that. I'm going for it. I'm the GOAT. I'm coming for the GOAT. And by all accounts, this movie hits those notes. He's showing out for it. But I got to see it because I don't really have enough like Timmy Chalamet movies that I'm like, yo, here's where like Dune's cool. But other than that, I don't really got anything else I can point to that I'm like, I really like Timothy Chalamet to say like he's a great actor. Besides, he just seems like a cool dude, and I want to like him as an actor.
Yeah.
With Tatum, injuries coming back. I see all the clips. I'm loving the PR. I'm starting to dream of what this looks like. And I think just like Marty Supreme, I could see it being awesome. I've heard it's awesome. I've heard Tatum's rehab's awesome. I've heard he's ahead of schedule. But until I actually see it, I just don't know. Like, I got to see it. I need to see it. So, Jason Tatum, you're getting the excited but need to see it Marty Supreme Award.
I love it, man. I don't really have any idea what Marty Supreme is all about. I have no idea. Like, it's a what?
It's a ping pong. It's a movie about ping pong.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, dude,
cool.
Look it up. It looks fun. It's one of those like stories. It's a sports movie of like a story that almost nobody knows, but like they took it deathly seriously.
Okay.
And cool. I think it looks great. So we'll see.
Great. I've only seen the like the still frame promos. I haven't seen any trailers or anything like that, but I think that's great. Okay. I'm gonna go to my final award. I was gonna give it to Jason Tatum. I might make a last second pivot now that I'm thinking about it here. But my final award is my Killer Mentality Award. Okay. And this one is in support of our childhood friend, Chris Kowalski. He also went to BC with me. He was one of the rare people that played 2 Division I sports, where he was a baseball player for the first 4 years of his time at BC. And then as a grad student, ended up walking on to the basketball team. So Chris is currently battling colon cancer. We will have a link posted in the show's description to purchase Killer Mentality hoodies. I bought mine today, where portions of the proceeds will go to helping out Chris's family to help spread awareness about colon cancer and how it can affect men as young and as healthy as someone like Chris. It's just like absolutely shocking that this could happen to someone who was, by all accounts, in phenomenal shape, just had a baby. Their family needs all the love and all the support. I actually was texting with him today. He said that he's gone through 15 treatments right now. He's got a 16th treatment coming up. Will, thanks for putting that link there in the chat. And he said that, there's things that you can't control, but you just have to kind of stay the course. Right. And I think that it makes sense for Jason Tatum to get that award with all of the stuff that's going on with his comeback, the Achilles injury, not to compare a sports injury to someone potentially losing their life at age 37. But I do think there are a lot of parallels in the way that Chris is attacking his chemotherapy with the way that Jason Tatum is attacking his rehab. Also, I think this award could go to Jaylen Brown just for his like general faith consistency, hard work pays off. That idea, Chris, we're praying for you. We're rooting for you, man. Hopefully everybody that's listening right now can at least go click on the link and check out Chris's story so that you might be able to encourage somebody to get screened earlier in their life or something like that, because this was, by all accounts, something that just happened randomly. And now he's, gone through 15 chemotherapy sessions with the 16th on the way. So we're thinking of you, my man. And we're hoping everything goes well.
Yeah. Shout out to you, Chris. Hopefully if you're listening to this, man, we're going to do what we can here to take our little platform here and help promote what we can. I put a link here for anyone that's live with us right now. Again, it will be in the description, both if you're listening to this, either the audio version on Spotify, Apple, wherever you listen to podcasts, as well as on our YouTube, or if you're just listening and want to go, it's fade-athletics.com. Under the apparel section, you'll see immediately the Killer Mentality sweatshirt. And yeah, it's one of those situations where I like his mentality on it, because it's something you can't control, right? And so you have to be able to kind of roll with it. And it's, we're wishing Chris all the best. Him and his family, as you mentioned, just had a baby. So you know, it sucks to think about. And, you know, Chris, just to be real with the audience, he's from Dorchester. Probably one of the more legendary youth players that we played with, right? Like,
Yeah.
literally, I mean, you went to college because what is he, 6'5"?
6'5", yeah, 6'5", 6'6".
But he was like that when he was like 12. Like
Yeah.
he
was
or at least he
throwing
felt that way.
gas.
He
threw
felt that
gas.
way when he was 12, and I think every time I saw him step to the plate, it felt like he hit the ball at the park every
Yeah.
single time when we played Little League. So,
anytime
you
you got that
to,
kid out or got a hit off of him or even got on base against him, you were like, yeah, I'm doing something right.
Yeah, I think I might have foul tipped the ball once, and I was pumped. I was like, all right.
He literally threw like 80
it.
miles an hour when he was 12 years old.
And it was what the Little League mound is like, what, 46 feet, and so with his leg extension it was like 40.
Yeah, it was crazy. He also didn't have the greatest control, so it was just like, am I gonna get hit in the skull?
Yeah, it was pretty terrifying. But yeah, please, if you guys have the opportunity, check out the link, support if you can. We'll give every opportunity for it. And yeah, Chris, just hope you can get better, man, and thinking of you and your family during this time.
We did beat him in our Little League World Series. I just want to throw that out there.
That is a fact. Wasn't
head to head, we won.
Didn't we turn like a triple play or some shit or something? I don't know. I can't. Maybe I'm making that part. That might be too much.
Dude, the like, in my mind, legendary jumping catch at shortstop was robbing Chris Kowalski of a double.
The things that we hold on to for those of us that didn't play high level in college and beyond. Remember that you got so far in this podcast, Greg, you referenced a Little League catch and a video of you throwing a football at the beach while drinking with your friends as two of the most legendary sports accomplishments in your career.
Wait, which beach?
And we talked about you being a high school quarterback too.
Wait, which one are you talking about? Which video are you talking about?
There was a video of us on the beach where it was you throwing the ball to our guy Garo against me.
Oh, no. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the one where we were floating the river in San Marcos where I threw the ball and hit that guy who was floating on like a fast stream.
Double dimes. I can't believe I doubted.
That was crazy. That was like the best throw anyone's ever made all time. Like that was like literally, if you talk to anybody that was there, they're like, dude, that was the greatest throw anyone's ever made.
That was the same day where you didn't know what slapping the bag was, right? And then you just like
I think I slapped the bag after making that throw because I was so excited.
Yeah, and then you didn't remember that you have to close the bag of wine, and the wine just drenched down you like you
looking
were
like fucking Gangrel.
Gangrel. I was trying to think of what it was. Yeah, Gangrel from WWE. Oh man! All right, that's gonna do it for this episode. Again, if you do want to support Killer Mentality, check it out in the description here. That'll be wherever you guys listen to this. Later this week coming up. So Celtics here, just looking at the week ahead. Monday, it's a 4-game homestand. So Monday against Chicago, Wednesday against Denver. Likely will be live after that Denver game. No Jokic, but you know, they put a scare into those Cavaliers that I talked about the other night. Fell just short. Jamal Murray's been having finally his all-star breakout year. So we'll check in on the Nuggets and the rest of the league after that game on Wednesday. And then for the weekend, we've got Friday night against Toronto back-to-back with Saturday, and hopefully we'll get to see Wemby for the Spurs on Saturday. So we will have you guys locked and loaded. It's 2026. We're back in action. We're rocking and rolling. Jaylen Brown might be an MVP. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? The possibilities are endless for 2026. Greg, been good to get back on the saddle here in the new year, and excited for what's to come for us and for the Celtics.
I also put a link. I put 2 links in there. Ignore the first one. The second one is a direct link to Mark's book, The Dead Know Nothing, which released on December 26th. Make sure you check that out. I had the pleasure of reading this in its early stages, like over a year ago. So really excited to kind of get the finished product here because it's a phenomenal book.
All right. Shout out to our guy, Mark. All right, man. We will be back later this week. Everybody enjoy the start of your week, and we'll catch you guys later. Peace.